Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Great to have you on board. And if you've returned because you've seen my previous videos, great to have you back. Today, in terms of car news, we're going to be discussing the Toyota GR Yaris. Now, for those that might not have heard of the Yaris before, a little bit of an introduction. The Yaris is a small car built by one of the largest car manufacturers in the world, and it has a reputation for being a very reliable car, and in its current incarnation is a very practical hybrid that can be purchased and is generally purchased by individuals who are very savvy, very experienced, and very wise. By that I mean slightly older people. Now, this is not a bad thing in any way, shape or form. In fact, quite the contrary, it is very positive. And the reason why I say that is because anybody who's been through the ringer of life and is deciding to purchase a car, that car better be a reliable car, that car better be a car that starts on the first turn of the key each time, and a car that tends to hold its value as much as it can and is cheap to insure. The Toyota Yaris, at least the regular Toyota Yaris, ticks all of those boxes and is a very capable, very practical car that only comes in 5-door. However, the GR Yaris is a very different kettle of fish. It may carry the Yaris moniker, but in actual fact, it is not a Yaris at all. Hence the price. The Toyota Yaris starts from around £18,000 to £20,000, whereas if you wanted the GR Yaris, you'd need to part with just shy of £30,000 to be able to pick up a set of keys. Luckily, Toyota throws the car in with said set of keys, so you don't need to worry. The Toyota Yaris is a four-wheel drive beast that has well in excess of 255 metric horsepower. In fact, it's been dynoed by certain people to show that it has in excess of 260 horsepower, which is amazing if you consider the size and weight of this particular vehicle. Now, £30,000 is relatively steep for a Toyota Yaris, but we've already said that for that particular type of budget, you're not actually picking up a Yaris, you're picking up a homologation race special car that has been designed from the ground up by some of the best engineers in the world, and it comes with a 5-year warranty to boot. So technically speaking, it's a bit of a bargain. So the Yaris has 3 different trim levels that you can purchase. The base one is just shy of £30,000, as I've mentioned before. There's also the luxury version, which adds a further £2,100 or thereabouts to the price of the base. There is also the performance pack, so you can get the GR Yaris performance version, which is £33,500. In fact, it's £5 shy of that. And the thing that you get that is very noticeable in the performance GR Yaris is that it has a set of mechanical limited slip differentials on each axle. Yes, you heard that correctly. A Toyota Yaris with mechanical limited slip differentials on each axle. Now, at £33,500, it is an amazing bargain to be able to buy yourself an entry-level rally car. However, at £33,500, it is a hideously expensive car to purchase where you're going to be mistaken for your geography teacher in the car park. That then brings me to the main topic of our video, which is, if you spent that money on the GR Yaris, would it be a good purchase? Would it be a good way to invest that money? So we're looking at the fun factor. So we already know that the car is fiercely fun to drive. The second thing that we do know is that it's going to be reliable and have the relevant warranties and dealership network support that one desires for when they purchase any sort of vehicle and they want to be able to enjoy it, as opposed to consider if it's going to fall apart or rust away in the next 3 to 5 years. We also know that the GR Yaris is going to be somewhat limited in numbers. Toyota have gone on record to state that there will only be 25,000 Toyota GR Yaris that are built across the world. However, one of their lead engineers have gone on record to say that should demand outstrip supply, Toyota would acquiesce and build more vehicles in addition to the initial 25,000 that they had initially declared that they would build. When we add those things up, we know that the car is going to be relatively limited in numbers. It has performance to boot. It is bespoke. There's a lot of hand-built, hand-engineered elements of the car itself. However, is it a good purchase? If we think around the subject, at the moment the car may seem slightly expensive because the used hand car market has plummeted, obviously for various reasons. The main one being a global issue that's happening at the moment. I can't quite put my finger on it right now, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. The secondary aspect to consider is that it will be a long time before the car industry starts to sort of pick up where it's left off. And the first thing that's going to take off is cars that are relatively practical, primarily because when we start to get back onto the roads and drive around, we're going to be essentially going to hopefully see family members that are around the different parts of the country or across Europe. And the key thing is going to be practicality. We want to be able to sort of put our buggies in the back, make sure we've got enough shopping, and be able to drive to and from places in relative comfort. GR Yaris does not fit any of these parameters, in my opinion. It will definitely cater to the motoring enthusiasts that want to take a car up and down the different wondrous driving roads across the UK and also in Europe. But these individuals, unfortunately, are few and far between. So from a commercial perspective, initially, I'm not entirely sure that Toyota are going to sell the full 25,000 that they've promised that they would build of the Toyota GR Yaris. However, in time, and if you're the type of person that considers things in the long term as opposed to the short term, and if you're buying the vehicle and plan to keep it for a 5 to 10 year duration, I think in about 10 to 15 years time, these particular GR Yaris are going to be tremendously sought after and probably wonderful collector's item. So for those reasons, I think it would be a good investment if we're thinking of purchasing it and keeping it and enjoying it over the next 10 years or so. And the other thing is, it's not the most practical car in the world. Unlike the regular Yaris, it does not have rear doors. It is only a 3-door vehicle. So we need to make sure that we've got another car that we can trot about with our families, because the GR Yaris is slightly uncomfortable, not the most economical thing in the world. So essentially, from a consumer advice perspective, and our verdict is, if you're buying a GR Yaris, make sure you have a regular Yaris to boot. So you've got the practicality of the regular Yaris and you have the performance of the GR Yaris. And both those things together are going to set you back around £50,000. Now, that is not good consumer advice, but that, in my mind at least, makes the most sense. If you disagree, please comment below. And if you agree, just fight with the people that have disagreed with me. I'll catch you in the next one.